Are we live? I never know with
I
this.
think we are.
I think we're
I think
live.
we're getting there.
Hey! Oh, I feel like the camera just like zoomed like, oh no. What happened? Got it.
We're good.
Things are popping up everywhere.
It says we've been live for 3 minutes.
What?
Go ahead. I don't think that's true.
I hope it's not true. Guys, please forgive the 4 minutes that we've wasted if, in fact, we've been live for already 4 minutes.
I don't think that's true.
But if we haven't been live, I want to say hi. How are you? And thank you for joining us. I'm Christina.
I'm Vincenzo Shirey.
He's really not Vincenzo. His
Vince.
name's Vince.
Vince Shirey.
He's
Hi.
my Vincenzo.
I was Vincenzo on the skating rink today with the kids. I did a triple axel Lutz flip.
I don't believe it, and I don't even know what that is. Anyway, we are here because we want to share with you answers to questions that we've been given about marriage. But first, I want to give you a little bit of our backstory so that you know, like, why the heck are you even talking about this thing? What qualifies you to answer these questions? And
that's a good thing
you?
to say too, because honestly, you want to follow folks who have fruit that you want, whether that's marriage or finances or day trading stocks or fitness or whatever that is. Like, it's like having who's out of shape. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. So we have been married how long now?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Decade.
He remembers all the dates and numbers and stuff.
It'll be 11 this year.
I feel like we swapped because usually the woman is supposed to know those things, and I don't. So we've been married for 10 years. We both came from broken relationships. Mm-hmm. We were previously married and then got remarried and blended our beautiful family. He has 2 older boys.
Yep. Both are out of the house now.
Yeah.
18 and 19, both moved out.
I have an older son who's 14, who's still living with us. And then together we have 2 little ones.
Yep.
So we have blended this family together.
Successfully blended a family.
It wasn't always perfect though. So here's the truth. You want somebody who's going to be honest with you about their freaking life. And the very first part of our marriage was, he won't agree with me, but I will tell you, was disastrous. It was no good.
What do you mean, like the first quarter?
Yeah, the first
couple
quarter.
years?
Yeah, it was crazy, and we didn't really realize it was. We didn't really think that it was a mess. We really didn't think we had any issues or problems because we were both afraid to tell the other person what the heck was going on in our heart and what was going on in our mind and what we were experiencing out of the whole thing. So we didn't really talk about the crap that was going on under the hood.
Disastrous is such a strong word.
I threatened to leave him like every 5 minutes. That's like a disaster.
I didn't believe it though. She wasn't going anywhere.
So we've been married for 10 years now, and I would say that this later half has been successful, that we have grown in our love and our commitment. We are together forever. There's no more threats of leaving. There's no more threats of going anywhere. And we have this deep passion for each other. For our marriage and to help other people get from where we were to where we are now, because we know that relationships aren't perfect. And you know, I don't think that it was until we started getting coaching really where we really started to open up our hearts, to become vulnerable, to become the people
coaching the right people around you, asking the right questions, encouraging in the right ways. So it's a combination of all that. It is coaching, and it is who you surround yourself with and what you're listening to and where your mind's going. So it was everything. It all matters, I think, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. It does. It matters who you're around, who you listen to, what you're involved in, who's speaking into your life. Yep. And so we have gone from, in my words, disastrous, but I told you he wouldn't agree with me. I already said.
It wasn't ideal, but it was what it was. I had a lot to learn myself about blending a family and leading a blended family and raising men and the whole thing. So, I mean, and we had to work through and navigate. If you're blended, you know what we're saying here, you know, ex-spouses, ex-in-laws over the holidays. The kids are going here and they're going there. That stuff sucks. It just does. I'm not going to lie to you. If you're in a situation where you're going through that, you can relate. And hopefully you don't ever have to go through that. But if you do, hopefully we can, I don't know if that's a question in here, but we can help you get through some of those pitfalls. You can ask us questions on how to navigate it. Because at first, that really was difficult. It really was. Those initial drop-offs and pickups and holidays were rough. So anyway, sorry.
So life hasn't always been hunky-dory. Life hasn't been all rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
But we've learned to transform our life, our marriage, into something that is beautiful every single day. Every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Where we used to not talk about the things that were bothering us, we now communicate, and it doesn't bring up this huge frustration, and we don't, I don't.
That was good. That's a good example, because just yesterday I had stuff that I needed to get out and tell you that was bothering me, and you were able to handle it and hear it, and it just felt good to get it out. Sometimes I'm like, I just have to tell you this isn't directed at you, it's just I have to get this out of my system, and then I was fine. Like today, it's been a different day with that subject because I was able to throw up what I needed to throw up. And then she didn't, oh, how could you say that? This is crazy. Like it goes both ways. So that's a perfect example because we practiced that yesterday.
Yep. So I used to be the woman, the wife, who would hear something that he would say and freak out. Mm-hmm. I would be the wife who threw my phone into my wall and put a hole there. I used to be the wife who, and still can have fits of anger and say things that I don't mean, but we no longer take these things and hold each other hostage and hold ourselves hostage and create just a very toxic environment. And so we're not perfect by any means, but we are working through life. We are growing, and we are night and day from where we used to be. Yeah. And so we have been asked, we've been coaching. I've been coaching for the past 2 years now, and people always are asking me relationship questions. And so I thought, why not? Why not come live? Why not share with you guys the answers, the way I would answer them, that are true for me and right for us, that have transformed our life. Why not bring them to you and share what I know for free and just let you know some of the questions and the answers that we've been asked. So we're excited.
I see questions, but I see no answers. So it will be off the cuff, and I don't know all these questions, so this should be interesting.
Yeah, so I just literally wrote down the questions. I did not think about what I was going to say here. This is not a polished, this isn't a polished webinar with slideshows and all the little everything perfectly. This is us raw. This is us real. This is us being honest. And this is us just giving you the answers that we know for ourselves and what, So here we go.
Sweet.
All right. Do you want to read a question?
I'll just start at the top. What do you do about finances spending?
So one thing I know for sure is that finances is one of the number one causes of frustration and conflict in relationships. And I would say for you and I, you probably didn't feel frustration or conflict around this, but I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, that's because I handle the finances. That's probably why. It's like I'm in control of everything that we spend and do. When I say control, I just know what's happening. I'm going to see it.
He handles it. So a little bit of my backstory. And so a lot of this stuff, a lot of these questions are going to be based on where you came from.
Yeah.
Like, where are you starting from in your relationship? What happened way back when that created frustration about this topic, right? Yeah. So for him, he was fine. He's like, I'm in control of the finances. Just ask if you need something. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. And
I meant it.
And he totally meant it.
We would discuss major purchases, but for the most part, you didn't have to discuss to go to Chipotle, but if you're going to spend $500, we would talk about it. That's pretty much how we work things in a nutshell. Sorry, I know you're going to say more, but that's as simple as that. Maybe I don't know if there's a specific number, but anything large, we would say, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think?
Yeah, yes, I mean, I just kind of ask him about everything just because he knows everything about where everything stands. And that might look different in your relationship.
Yeah.
It might look different.
Maybe the wife does the finances and pays the bills and all that stuff.
And I feel like there's no right or wrong answer.
No.
But this is what I want to talk to you about, because really, let's get to the root of why are you having frustration with finances in the first place. So my why was because I felt like he was in control, like I had to ask for permission. I felt restricted, even though he never, ever, ever said anything or did anything to make me feel that way. I just felt that way. And so there was always this like contention between us when it came to finances. And
on your side.
On my side, right. Like, he never reacted to me. That is what I love about this man right here, is like, he never reacted to my drama, which I'm learning. I can be a little bit dramatic.
No.
I can be a little bit dramatic. So he would never react to my drama about the stories that I created about finances. So I would be like, I feel like I don't have access to our money. He's like, here's the card. Like, I feel like I'm not free and I have to ask for permission. And he's like, go do it. And where it came from, so I came from a relationship that was an unhealthy relationship. And then I was a single mom, right? Where I could call the shots. I had the freedom. I didn't have to ask for anything. I didn't have to like check with anybody about anything. I didn't have to, you know.
And the checking is not to go off on a sidebar here, but checking is just, it's just a courtesy for me. I look at it like, I don't think you're going to say no. It's just like, hey, I'm thinking about this. You good with it? Yeah. And if you said no, then we would discuss further and be like, well, why'd you say no? Or like, what's going on? And then we discuss it, and then maybe I wouldn't make the purchase. But it's not like you're restricted. It's just like courtesy, like your partners, like talk about it. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So coming from this freedom, and to be honest with you, I didn't have much. I was on welfare. So I didn't have much money to begin with, but what I did have, I could do whatever I wanted with it and never felt like, you know, I had to ask for permission.
Yeah.
And let's be clear, he's not controlling. He did not have me ask for permission, but I put that on myself. So when we got married, he is working full time. I'm a stay-at-home mom and was taking care of the kids in the house and all of that stuff. And I felt like I wasn't contributing. I felt like I wasn't enough. I created all these beliefs about who I was and what role I played in our home, which then transferred into the finance conversation of like, I'm not enough. So I can't spend money. So I don't feel freedom, or I'm restricted. So that's where that came from. So if you're dealing with an issue when it comes to finances, our kiddos are coming around. But if you're dealing with that in your relationship, really take a look at your story about finances and where all that stuff comes from. And in coaching with us, that we go back and we dig deep and we find the root of what the heck is happening and why it's such a sore topic. And on top of that, you guys realize that your spouse and you are totally different people. You're going to spend different. You're going to think differently about money. You're going to have different beliefs about it. You're going to have different personalities. One is probably very frugal and wants to, you know, save and grow money and do that. And then you might have one who likes to spend more freely, who doesn't plan for the future, who likes to live life now. So realize who you're married to and don't judge them for who they are or what they choose to do with their money. And that is for advice. Every area of your life, right? Whether it's finances, whether it's sex, whether it's whatever. It goes all the way deep into your whole relationship. You are married to somebody who's not you. So be okay with that. And don't make them wrong for their way of acting, for their way of believing. So that answers that question. Does anybody else have, let's see.
Debbie said that they have 2 checking and savings accounts. Jim pays the bills, actually write him a check monthly toward rent utilities. I've heard other people doing it that way too. So if that works for you guys, that's fantastic. I mean, there's going to be different ways of doing things. So it seems to work for them and other people who do it that way. So
yeah, there's no right way.
Yep.
There's no right way. Your spouse, your husband might think that he's right about the way he does it, and you might think that you're right about doing it. But when you realize that you're not right about everything, that just opens up a world of possibilities.
Teammates.
It doesn't have to be his way or my way. How can you come to a mutually beneficial solution where you both are happy? There's not a right or wrong. There's not it's my way or his way, or one of us are unhappy.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Cool. Moving on. Is that why is Going Number 2 such a big production for men?
Yes, Val. Val wrote that. She's like, I want to know why Going Number 2 is such a big production for men. So
is that a production for me?
Honestly, I feel like it's more of a production for me.
Yeah, I don't.
He's in and out. He's in and out and done.
I don't have an answer for that question.
but I take forever in the bathroom. So who's with me? Who has the big production in the bathroom? I want to know who you are. It's me in this relationship. I told you that I might be a man. I'm just kidding. I'm confused.
Okay. How to keep things exciting long term. So long term being what? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever
long term means, probably after the first year.
Yeah.
You know? So what do you have to say first? I'll let you talk.
Long term, I think it's consistency with date nights and talking. Like for us lately, and this evolves for us over time. It always does. So whether one year we traveled a lot to a bunch of different cities for coaching, that was a great year because we were in all these different cities. It was super exciting. COVID hit, and then it was a little bit different, but we still traveled a little bit. But lately, for us, it's been nightly walks, and I love going on our walks because that's 45 minutes of time for us to just talk. And we talk about everything during those walks. So for me, that's keeping it exciting long term. I think I guess to answer it would be taking a quarterly, kind of inventory of what is working and what's not. So if the walks start to get stale, then we need to do something else. If the dates are just kind of check off, well, we went on a date, then that's clearly not working. So you should do something else. And just seeing where you're at, asking your partner, asking questions, a lot of questions. Look up 10 questions to ask your spouse and then ask questions. I don't know. That's just, for us, I don't think we've had trouble, in my opinion, getting stagnant, but you're going to maybe say something different. But I've enjoyed.
It's a personality thing again, right?
I think it's been great. I can tell sometimes, if we haven't gone on a date and we need to do a weekend away, I need to make that happen ASAP. But I think it's things like that keep it exciting, looking forward to vacations, looking forward to whatever that looks like, and doing new things. I mean, we've ordered things through Amazon that card questions to ask each other. That keeps it exciting. I don't know, just for me, I don't get bored of her. She's fun and exciting, so it is probably a personality thing. You're never boring. There's never a dull moment in our home. If you would go by our house, you'd probably be like, who's in that house and what's going on? There's probably screaming and yelling and joking and laughing and working out and loud music and all the above, but that's just how we live. So anyway, what would you say?
Yeah, no, I think that there are seasons and moments where things can get stale and dry.
Yeah.
But it's because you've chosen to let it get that way. And so I think doing anything to get yourself out of your comfort zone is huge. And I'm working on that because I like to stay in my comfort zone. There's things that I don't necessarily prefer to do as far as wearing certain things or doing certain things. I'm I don't prefer to do that because I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But when you get outside of that comfort zone of the things that you're used to doing, then you add more fun into it. You add more joy. You add more fulfillment. And if it's a fail, then you laugh about it later. You know what I mean?
Retry.
Don't be afraid to get yourself into situations.
Well, I mean, in the winter, we just spontaneously went down to Florida for 10 days, and that was fantastic. We were in the sun. It was warm. Do stuff like that. I mean, we didn't we didn't plan that. We just, let's go to Florida. And I understand not everyone can do that with jobs and work and stuff, but you can plan to be spontaneous, if you will. Like if you have vacation time, then make that happen for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And if you are like a parent of young kids, because we love to make excuses why we can't do something. And if you are a parent of young kids, I'm challenging you right now, get out of your story of, I can't do it because my kids are little and there's no time. Bull.
Yeah.
Bull.
Yep.
You have time. You make time. If your marriage is a priority, if your relationship is a priority, you get to not have your kids be your priority for a moment. Hire a sitter.
Right.
Hire a sitter. Ask mom and dad to help out. Ask somebody else to. We've paid hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of dollars at this point
To sitters?
to sitters to
Yep.
help us so that we can create this intimate relationship where he feels honored, where I feel loved, where we feel connected.
We don't live by family, so we have to pay a sitter. That is what it is. And there was a season where the kids were younger or out doing their thing or at work, our older kids, and it just was what it was. We're paying out, 20, 40, $50 a week just to go on a date. And I don't mean it like that just to, but it was worth the investment for sure.
Yeah.
So you'll prioritize whatever you want to, and you know it, period. If marriage is a priority, you will take dates. End of story. Sorry. And that's just the way it is.
No, it is. It's true. And we like to get caught up in ourselves and in our victim story as to, I can't because if there's a because after it, I want to just invite you to shift that.
Yeah.
Okay? Because there is a win. You can make it happen. You get to look at the possibility instead of what's holding you back. Because why do we want to live in this restricted life where I can't, I can't. It's so much more fun to say, yes, let's figure it out. Yes.
Ready for the next?
Yeah.
Should there be a his/her side of the bed or dedicated sinks when you have two?
Okay.
I think we just did that automatically. We had two sinks and I had one and you had yours and I had my side and you have yours. I mean.
Yes. I want to know who in the world just swaps sides of the beds.
I don't know.
I would
That's
feel...
a real question. Oh, I get it now. So you get in bed on the other side one night.
Yeah, just randomly
that's so weird. I wouldn't want to do that.
It is weird. Even when we go to hotels,
we still sleep
we
on
know
the
where
same.
we're at. We've just decided. But hey, there's no right and wrong, right?
No.
So our way isn't right. Or your way isn't wrong. Everything gets to be decided between the two
maybe
of
that
you.
could keep the excitement up. Different sides of the bed.
Yeah, let's try that tonight. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep. So yeah, as far as the sink, his and her sink, I prefer to have a separate sink. I have an actual total bathroom that's my own right now that I don't use the sink that he uses because he has beard hair that falls on. It gags me.
I need to shave.
It grosses me out. And that's just me. That's my personality. So instead of complaining about, why don't you clean up the hair off the sink? That's disgusting. You're gross. Instead of doing that, hi Nathan, I choose to have a different bathroom than him. Or if I couldn't and I didn't have that option, guess what I would do? I would clean up the hair.
Cool. Effective communication. That's got an exclamation point on it. Effective communication.
Yes. So this was the question. There were so many people asking. That's why it has that exclamation point, is because this is probably the number one question that people were asking me is, how do I communicate with my spouse? And then all the different questions that fall under that.
Honestly, to answer that question, I don't think we could do that in a webinar. And I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but so much goes into effective communication that to say we'll do this and do that and it'll be effective. I can't do that because we've got effective simply based on months of self-improvement, training and coaching. That's what's led us to this point. So to give, I guess we can come up with something, but...
Yeah, so effective communication, in my opinion, comes down to humility.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I feel if I were to say one thing that would help you communicate with your spouse in a way that they receive it, in a way that you can receive their communication, it's humility.
Yeah.
You don't have to be right. And when you come from a position of my way has to be right, you're not going to communicate correctly.
Yeah.
You can have feelings, you can have emotions about something, but for me, like when I talk to Vince about something that I'm feeling or like a disagreement we may have, I say, first of all, I just want you to know this is how I'm feeling, and you really don't have anything to do with it. This is just what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And we give each other permission to throw up on each other, not hurt each other,
Right.
but throw up on each other, to say things that need to be said, and we don't take it personal.
Right.
So that, I would say, is the number one thing that has helped us communicate better, is understand that you're not right, he's not right, neither one of you guys are right, and you get to feel and have your experience anyway. You get to have your emotions. You get to be angry if you're angry. You get to be sad if you're sad. And you can say what you need to say without hurting the other person. So when you take responsibility for your feeling and for your experience, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what I'm feeling, and it has nothing to do with you. I realize that, but I just need to get this out.
Good. And it helps that you prep me too, to say like, I just got to say some things, and vice versa, like, so that you know that it's not just a direct like dagger at you. It's like just your processing. So it's good.
And in receiving, so communication goes both ways. It goes in giving and in receiving. So if you're the giver, that's how you get to give, is honesty and taking responsibility for your own emotions. And in receiving from the other person, what are you receiving? Are you listening? Are you being honoring? Are you walking in humility, knowing that you may not be right about something? Are you thinking about the other person and their feelings and their emotions? Good. So it goes both ways. You get to express it, and you get to be that for somebody else.
It sounds like the next question goes with it. How to feel like your spouse truly understands how you feel. Again, how to feel like your spouse truly understands how you feel.
Yeah. You know what? You can answer this if you want. It's probably more of a girl question, or more of like an emotional person question. Because it's not always girl, guy, boy, girl,
in all
woman.
fairness, my emotions are pretty much like this. There's like not, I just don't, I mean, we have great times, and it's just the way I'm wired. It's just different.
Yeah.
So
how can I be sure that he hears my emotions and he knows? First of all, I would consider, are you trying to control his experience? Are you trying to control what he's hearing, what he's getting? Do you have some sort of control going on inside of you, like he must get me?
Yeah.
Second of all, I would consider personality, that there may be a personality style that's just like you guys may miss it in communication, and his response may not be what you want his response to be. That doesn't mean he doesn't get it. That doesn't mean he doesn't get it. And same with her. Her response to you may not be what you want it to be, but it does not mean that he's not getting it or he's not hearing you. You may be choosing to feel he doesn't get you.
Yeah.
So you're in control of your feelings. You're in control of what you're thinking. You're in control in every single moment. You're in control of whether you think he's getting it or whether you think he's not. And you're going to stand your ground. You're not hearing me. You don't listen. You don't love me. That's bull. That is bull. And I can say it because I've done it, guys. All of this stuff, the reason why I can coach on it so well, and I have to say I'm probably the best coach, because I have lived it and I have been there, and I have been in those victim moments. I'm like, you don't understand a word I'm saying. And I think I said it last week.
You did.
I think I said
back through it.
I know. And then he tries to coach me on what I coach. So I'm like, don't coach me.
It works really well when you do that.
No, it does not.
It's a way to do it.
So anyway, the reason why we can even say any of this is because we've been there, we've done that, we've experienced it, and we're still growing through it. We're still growing through it. We're not
exciting.
perfect.
How to build a life together even if you have separate careers and hobbies.
What would you say?
It's nothing separate to me for us. Like, yeah, I went to work and did my thing, but our interests are completely different, I think. Like, we don't like a lot of the same things at all. We just don't. However, like, we'll give and take of things that we do like. Like, you'll watch football with me because I like to watch Tom Brady or whatever the thing is. Like, yeah, we have separate things, but that makes it fun, in my opinion. Like, if we liked all the same stuff, I don't know that would be good or bad. It could be good, but I mean, it's cool having things that are separate and different. Like, we don't like the same music. We don't like whatever. Like, I wake up in the morning and want to go 100 miles an hour, and that's when I am actually kind of out of my element and a little bit more, vocal and loud and excited in the morning. And you want to just be quiet and be like me. We like shift, and then towards the evening I start to slow down. But anyway, I think the differences make us who we are, and I love that we're so different. In fact, I think that's the way to be. But we are together on a lot of key things that matter most to us in our life. Like, spiritually, we're on the same playing field. Financially, we're on the same playing field. We have a lot of these things that matter. I say matter, like, just think key things in marriages that typically, like, toss people apart, we're on the same page on. So we might fight a little bit about raising the kids a little bit in different discipline practices, but other than that, I think we're pretty much on the same page with key things.
Yeah, and I think that it's okay if you're not.
Yeah.
I think it's okay if you're not.
So guys, we're gonna do a take two here. We just had one question left. We lost our internet, and I don't even know if we're live right now. Okay, it says we're live for a couple minutes. So anyway,
are we live?
Let's reintroduce. We lost our internet for a few moments. We're going to do the last question because it was an important question, and we definitely want to get you guys this information.
Yes.
The last question was, how do you handle things you don't like about your partner? How do you handle things you don't like about your partner?
I get to throw this one off to this man over here. Go ahead. How do you handle things you don't like about me?
It was the answer was, because we were kind of saying it off, as I don't have a list of things I don't like about you.
So he is an absolute pro. Okay, he's a pro at managing his mindset, and he didn't even know it. Like, he doesn't even know how awesome he is about this specifically. And so things that we can get caught up in as a wife or a husband or whatever, we can really get caught up in the things that we don't like about our spouse. I'm sure, like 100% positive, that if he wanted to, he could look at me and find things that he didn't like, either physically or emotionally, or like you say no, but that's because you've managed your mind so well to not point out all the negative things about me. Yeah. Like, I'm sure that you don't love some things. There's some things, but he chooses not to focus on that stuff. And so, like, what is the trick? How do you do it? What do you think about that puts you in that place, in that position of, like, there's nothing I don't love about my wife?
Well, number one, you're his daughter, and I posted that on my social media the other day. Number one, you're God's daughter, so that's a huge deal, and it helps me understand that illustration even more because I have my own daughter. Like, imagine, I imagine she's older and her husband's like nitpicking all the stuff he doesn't like about her. I'd be like, that's my daughter. What are you doing? Like, I wouldn't like that. So you're the creator of the universe's daughter, and I'm not going to nitpick his creation and think, oh, I don't like this, and that. That's just my mindset and where it goes, period. Number two, you're my gift. You're a gift to me. So I see you as such. Like, you've been given to me as something to treasure that is a great gift, and I really believe that you're a gift to me from him. And then thirdly, you're my wife. So it's daughter, it's daughter, gift, and then wife. And you pointed out that I did hear that from Hans.
Johnson articulated that perfectly. But I have to say, for the past 10 years, he's literally lived that out. He didn't have the words to express. And so thank you, Hans.
Yeah, Hans gave me the vernacular to know what I meant or how I was living. I just couldn't articulate it. So
yes,
that's it. And if you don't think about it, the scripture is clear. It says if you don't treat your wife well, he doesn't hear your prayers anyway. So guys, if you want to have your prayers answered and heard, you should probably treat your wife really, really well. And that might mean something different to you than it does to me. But for me, it's just I see her blameless without fault. And that's in the love scripture anyway. So we can go there, whole other topic. But yeah. She's amazing. She's my gift. She's his daughter, and I treat her accordingly.
Yeah, and he, like I said, he's been awesome at that. I have not been so awesome at that. There was a time in our relationship where literally everything that I could see is the negative. Everything. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know that there are women out there who, when your husband or wife, women or men, this can go either way, when you're touched, you're like, oh. Like, there was a point where I would flinch when he would touch me because I didn't like him. And I hate saying that. Like, it breaks my heart that I was ever there in that position. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, it wasn't because of him. It wasn't because of him. It was because of me. It was because of the thoughts that I were choosing to think, the thoughts that I was dwelling on, the belief about him that that he wasn't good enough. And it all was a reflection of what was really going on inside of me, you guys. Like, when you're in a relationship, when you're in a marriage, it is all just this big mirror of what's going on inside of you. Yeah. On what's going on inside of me. And in our relationship, I was so hard on myself. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find love for myself. I couldn't find joy in my life, not because of him, because I started that way. Yeah. Because I started that way. I had this measuring stick that was 1,800 billion miles high from myself. Yeah. And the truth is that I used that same measuring stick for him. And it's impossible, you guys. It is absolutely impossible to meet those expectations. When you hold yourself up to this measuring stick of perfection for yourself, and then you're finding yourself, everybody else around you has to be perfect or you're unhappy. It is an impossible situation. Yeah. Absolutely impossible. So what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on your own imperfections? Are you focusing on your own faults, on your own failures, on your own badness? And then on top of that, focusing on your spouse's badness, on their things that you don't like. Because it's all a reflection. It is a mirror. It is a big, fat, ugly mirror sometimes, and it was for me. And I got knocked out by that mirror and hit on the ground, and not by him. He did not abuse me. But my reflection was like, boom, boom, boom. Listen, you don't like him because you don't like yourself. Yeah. And that, when I had that realization, it literally changed everything in our marriage. It changed everything in our life. It changed absolutely everything. That's when I decided, I need coaching. I need to figure this out. I've got to figure out what's inside of me that's causing me to be so unhappy, to be miserable, because we had a great marriage. We had a great relationship. We had love that I've never experienced before in my entire life other than from God. And he was a reflection of that love to me. And so, not to say my parents didn't love me, they loved me like freaking crazy, but I didn't see it, or I couldn't experience it. I couldn't be open to the possibility that somebody loved me that much.
So what do you think? What are you going to offer?
So I want to tell you guys that we're so passionate about this topic. We're so passionate about seeing you in a fulfilled, hot, amazing, connected marriage. It's a big deal, because if your marriage sucks, your life sucks. Yeah. I know. I was there, and he was there. Yep. And we've not always been in this place where life has been all butterflies and rainbows, and we're there now. We're experiencing it now. The freedom, the joy, the love. true love, true connection, true intimacy.
Yeah.
That actually really does exist. You don't have to have a mediocre marriage. You don't have to go through the motions. You don't have to live in the status quo of what the world tells you relationship is. And I'm telling you, 50% of people are getting a divorce, whether you're a Christian, whether you're not. Like, the statistics are, period. Half of marriages are failing left and right. And if you're a blended family, you're even more at stakes of your marriage failing.
Yep.
So I want to offer the first 5 people to comment on this post and say, I want coached. Say, I want coached. I'm giving you a free hour of coaching time with me. And Vince, we can open up our calendar and see what works for you, see what works for us. But I want the first 5 people only will get coached by us and see what we can do. See that you do have hope to have an amazing, incredible, fulfilled relationship.
It's awesome.
It's not over. It's not mediocre. It is flaming hot and passionate and everything that you thought marriage should be, but you haven't yet experienced it yet. It is possible.
It's good.
So comment, I want coached in the comments. Say, I want coached. The first 5 people to put that in there. We will contact you. We will set a time and we will work on your marriage so that you get to win. You get to win in this life. You get to have a great time. You get to enjoy your relationship. Who thought the old ball and chain would be enjoying freedom and passion and joy, right? So let's experience that together. Let's go through a journey together where we get you exactly what you want in your relationship. So comment below, I want coached.
Yes.
And we will contact you later. Love
See
you guys
ya.
so much. Bye.